Hey, how you guys doing? Again, it's Eugene Johnson, founder of Make Your Mind an Asset, and today I am super excited to be bringing you another interview. I've gotten a lot of emails about the first interview that we released. Now this one I'm excited about. A young lady, a good friend of mine. She got started in business at an early age, built up a company with a couple of partners to $100+ million company. She dropped some incredible nuggets, so I'm excited for you guys to get a chance to watch. So watch, enjoy, remember at the end to subscribe, write comments down below, ask her questions. I'm sure she'll be willing to answer any questions that you have. So I'm excited for you guys to hear the nuggets and the information that she's brought to you today. And without further ado, I want you to listen in to female entrepreneur extraordinaire, leader of leaders, Miss Betty Perez. Good. It's good to get a chance to sit down with you. And I'm excited for the audience to get a chance to hear your story and your insights and philosophies on success. So let's start from the beginning, where you're from and how you actually started down the entrepreneurial road.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm excited to just meet everybody, share some stuff. I'm from California. I was born and raised out in the city of Orange. Grew up with my mom, my sister, small family. And, just always had an example from a strong woman, my mother, to just go out there and be the very best that I could be. Okay. Whatever definition I think that is to you, you have to go out there and just do whatever you can to just grow and to make sure that you can really have a significant impact on those around you. And so I went to school, grew up with the normal thing, and one day I got a call from a friend of mine to take a look at an industry that really promoted somebody to become a better person, to personally develop, and it's called network marketing. And I got started when I was 17 years old, and I fell in love with the industry, fell in love with the concept of it, and I met some incredible people.
Oh wait, so you started in network marketing at 17?
Yeah.
But you had to be 18 to start.
You have to get parental.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. You got signed off at 17.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's big that for a 17-year-old to even sign up. Most 17-year-olds I know not trying to do anything when it comes to business. Okay, so that's cool. 17.
It was exciting because when I entered, I went to this meeting, and there was somebody on stage, and they were just talking about. They weren't talking about the business or a business scope. They were just talking about you as a person, how you had to mentally grow. And I went to private school my whole life, and I had never been around people that what they focused on was raising your level of leadership. And they were explaining what you needed to do to really think outside the box. If you aspire to be a leader, I think sometimes that word is thrown around somewhat loosely, a leader. What does that really mean? And they broke down, what that meant. And so when I was sitting there and I was hearing this for the very first time, I had never really been around any information like that. And I got excited about the possibility of growing. I think whenever you're in an environment around people that help you become better, and you feel like you're growing, you feel like you're progressing, you want to stay in environments like that. Yeah. And that's the reason why I got involved.
Wow. Okay. So normally, especially in today's society, it's a little bit sexy to be an entrepreneur now. When I first got started in entrepreneurism, it was like, if you told somebody I'm an entrepreneur, they would say you just can't find a job. That's your problem, right? So now today you can say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, and people look at that in a great light because you got movies like the Mark Zuckerberg movie, sure, and Steve Jobs, and entrepreneurship is a little bit more sexy than it was in the past. So, but in the first year of entrepreneurism, especially today, a lot of people get in. Especially where I live in Silicon Valley, where you got the super geniuses who come in and they're from Stanford or they move from Harvard, and they feel like, hey, I can come in, start this business because I'm super smart and be super successful in a year, and they don't realize the difficulty in that process. So tell me about your first year of being in business, being an entrepreneur, and some of the things that you had to go through, because 90% of people don't make it past that first year mark. So tell me about that. What was some of the difficulties that you went through?
Yeah, I think when you think of entrepreneurship or just building a business, doing anything, the focus can't be on yourself. It can't be what I'm going to look like, what my status is going to be, how much money I'm going to make. I think that all those things, money, status, that all is a byproduct of focusing on what you're doing for people. And if there's a need and you have a solution, that's the beginning of it all. And for me personally, it started with just passion. There's a couple simple truths about entrepreneurism that you could look at it like it's just simple truths, or you can take a look at aspects such as passion, excitement. You have to be excited. You have to have long-term thinking, and you have to ask yourself, what does that really mean? What does passion really mean? What does long-term thinking really mean? And what does it mean to truly stay excited? Because whenever as an entrepreneur, you're going to encounter everything from the lows to the highs to rejection to sometimes things just come. You go through it all, and I think the key is to always, to stay excited through it all. Be excited when the good times come, and that's easy, obviously. But the real test is to stay excited when it's not easy, and yet still find and embrace the challenge and still be excited through it, to push through it. You hear that all the time, but one of the things that I like to do is I like to reflect, and I ask, what does that really mean? What does it mean to stay excited through not the best times? And it's always keeping your focus on the future, and also realizing that nobody's entitled to anything. And I think that's one of the things that's really helped me. A lot of times there's most people, you've got talents that you have, whether it's whether it's certain your intelligence or your charisma, whatever it is, and it's easy to focus on your talents and say, well, because I have these talents or these aspects of my personality, I'm going to go places. And those are all just, they're tools, but it doesn't mean that's going to take you there, right? So knowing that nobody's entitled to anything, you've got to put some work into it.
Absolutely. So tell me, so I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. Sure. Give me one issue that almost knocked you out of the game. Like the one thing in the early years of entrepreneurship that you said, that's it, I've had it. I can't do it anymore. Because I think we've all quit at least once or twice in our careers as entrepreneurs, right? So tell me, like, that one story of, man, this is what happened, this is what I went through, that almost knocked me out of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember a specific time when I was, I had been about a year into my business, and gosh, I worked, like I felt, and I didn't just feel, like I did it all. I woke up early, I put the calls in, I did the meetings, I did everything you possibly could, and there was a day when I just really asked myself, is this really what I want to do? Or could I just pick up and go to Hawaii and just, lay on the beach, surf all day, have a simple, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Absolutely. And I thought to myself, hey, maybe, here I am thinking this is happiness when, maybe there's an easier way, right? Yeah. I had my mentor, he sat down with me, and I think this is so key in life. Everybody has to have a mentor.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a book, whether it's an audio, whether it's a person, it's always good to have a mentor. I think wisdom comes from a council of people, and it's the right people too. And I sat down with my mentor, and he started just talking to me about, sometimes there's working hard is one aspect, but there's working smart and working hard, right? And he just asked me a few questions on helping me focus on efficiency, right? And just a couple of points, and he challenged me the next day. He said, Betty, tomorrow I want you to wake up earlier than you've ever woken up before. I want you to go run. I want you to make more calls than you ever did before.
Wait, go run?
Yeah.
Wow, most people wouldn't add that into the spectrum. That's good. Okay, go run.
Yeah, and I think there's a mentor out there who's passed away, but he's affected so many lives. His name's Jim Rohn. And he talks about, he talks about how confidence comes not just, it comes from knowing that given it all that you could. And it's funny, but when you work hard, when you put in the work, when you know you've given it everything you have, it brings out this confidence within you, you know? And I think it's just knowing that you're becoming better in every aspect of your life. You know, being successful, you can't just focus on one aspect of success. You have to focus on the whole picture. And, you know, money, whatever, it's all a byproduct of the person that you are, you know? You attract things by becoming attractive, right? So yeah, I woke up and I ran, and I got a good workout. I beat the sun, you know, and I did more calls, more meetings. And by the time my head hit the pillow at the end of the night, I wasn't just tired. It was because I think there's two different types of tired. And one of them, we like to call it a good tired. When you know that there was nothing else you could have done, but you did it efficiently. You got, you know, you worked with intent, you worked precisely, and you know, and through that, the next day I had results, you know, and it's a simple conversation, but it had so much truth and so much meaning behind it that you know really helped me out a lot.
Wow. Okay. So you hit a roadblock. You got a mentor.
Sure.
Mentor pointed you in the right direction, got you back on track. So. And I think that's huge. I mean, I would probably say a lot of my hardships were overcome by the conversations with the right people, right? So that's super awesome, and I think that's something that the community can go and start using right away. So tell me, let's talk about, all right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about right now, like the process of where you are right now. So tell us the story of, you know, you started your entrepreneurial journey, and now you're, you know, from where you are right now, you're, you know, co-founder of a great company, you know, large company. I've got a ton of friends in that company, so I love your company. And so tell me about the process of where you are, from where you are, or where you were, to being where you are right now, because it doesn't seem, especially hearing a little bit about the story, it doesn't seem probable, right? Like this is like, everything had to go right in order for something like this to happen, right? So tell me that process. How'd you get there?
You know, it's funny, one of the things that you said is, it's not a probable story, and it's almost like everything had to go right. And when you really take a look at the story, everything had to go wrong in order for me to get to where I am today. And I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. You know, today, our company, we've been able to accomplish a lot within just 4 years. We were voted the fastest growing company last year within our industry. You know, we've been able to help thousands of people around the world. We're in 6 different countries, and you know, the company's doing great. You know, over a $100 million company in just 4 years. And it's easy to take a look at the
that's
story.
A big deal, because I hate to skip over that, but there are people who wish they had a $1 million company in 4 years, you know, right? So you got people who start companies and basically mudding through the ropes until they finally figure it out, right? So 4 years later, a $100 million company, that's a big deal. Like that's something that's not anything to sneeze at. A lot of people kind of push that under the rug, especially people who are already doing it. Like I have friends who have $100 million companies, and they'll always make it seem like, it's just $100 million. Oh, it's just a couple $100 million. No big deal, right? But that's a huge deal. That's a huge accomplishment. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to stop it and interject there.
You know, it is a big accomplishment, but our focus is not the $100 million mark. We were excited about it, don't get me wrong. It's always when you have certain milestones within your company, whether it's financial or different other types of milestones, it's, of course, you get excited and you're proud of what you've done. But, you know, I think if anything, for me personally, I just feel blessed. I have some incredible people around me. Our leadership team is absolutely incredible, and nobody gets there by themselves, you know? This is not a one-person or two-person company, absolutely not. You know, we've got a lot of great people that together we've been able to do this together, you know, and I think that's so key. But back to the story, like I said, it almost seemed, when I look back, it's almost as if everything had to go a specific way, where I had to go through some lows, you know, and that helped me get to where I was at. I started Secret when I was 19 years old. Matter of fact, at 19, I had 2 years you know, prior to that, or a year prior to that, I had just left school. You know, I grew up with a single mom who put me through private school her whole life, not because she had money, but because she wanted the best possible future. And what she envisioned as the best possible future was, you know, universities, degrees, all that. And I'm an advocate of education, I really am. But, you know, I was in a place in my life where I had an opportunity to have great mentors around me to start down an entrepreneurship route. And although nobody understood it, and a lot of people were against it, thinking, what is network marketing? You know, is that even real? I got excited and I went with it, and I didn't stop. Now, from 17 to 19, although I had a level of success and I met some great people, there came a point when I was, you know, 19 years old, that I quit. I actually did. I quit the industry because I had gone through highs and lows, and I decided I needed to do something totally different. And you know, and I think when you feel, I know because it's happened in my 25 years of age, you know, when you feel that you're at the lowest point, there's opportunities that come after that. You just have to mentally stay strong. And my opportunity came in the middle of the mall. I was standing on the kiosk, and I don't know if you've ever stopped by those kiosks.
I was, very much so.
Okay, so then you know, most people, they don't necessarily want to stop. You're an object in the middle of the mall on your way to Dillard's or Apple, whatever store, right? And here I am in the middle of the mall, asking you for a sample, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, what have I come to? You know, this has got to be just the lowest it could possibly go, you know? And as I was standing in the middle of the mall offering people samples of this incredible product that comes from the Dead Sea, and here's what happened. People stopped and they took a look at the products and they fell in love with the products. And it wasn't the products that they fell in love with, I should rephrase that. They fell in love with the results. But as an entrepreneur, I looked at an opportunity where here people have a need, we have an incredible product. There was one problem to it. Nobody wants to stop in the middle of the mall at a kiosk, and they don't necessarily, they may not perceive it as a high-end product, when the truth is, the product that I was selling was a very high-end luxurious product, you know? And so through that, after a couple of weeks of just seeing the whole process, I just thought to myself, could there be a different way to distribute this product? Could it be that we could get out of the malls? Because the way the world works, and you know this, you know, we're doing this right now. People are not necessarily going to stores. They're going, they take advice from their friends, from their family before they do from a celebrity, you know? The world is going social, you know? And so I thought, what if we can take these products out of traditional retail, which is disappearing anyway, and just go person to person and lower the price of the product because you don't have all the overhead, and you could also get to share the wealth with the people that help you move this product. And that's where my opportunity came, and I believe that everybody in life does get, you have an opportunity that comes your way, you just have to be able to recognize it, and not just recognize it, but run with it, you know, and know that there's going to be some hardships that come your way, but you gotta go with it.
So you got an idea. Selling the product. So you worked for the company.
I did.
And you got an idea saying we can push this product in a more efficient way, right? So that in itself is a huge deal. But let's just skip past that and say you got this idea. You said, hey, let's figure out a way to push this product in a different way because I think it'll be more effective. What did you do with that idea from there? You had it. So a lot of people get ideas all the time, right? You know, there's ideas.
We all get ideas.
Every single person. Right? What did you do with it to make it into what it became?
You know, I already talked to my friends, my family. This is the part where we laugh the most. You know, number one, I asked for a meeting. You know, I just asked for a meeting with the owner of the brand. Granted, this company at this time, they were selling over $100 million a year in 30 different countries. So it's not like they were broken or they were looking for anything different. And I was 19, and I knew that I didn't know who I was going to meet. You know, I knew I was going to meet some successful people who had built a huge brand around the world. But I asked for a meeting, and I think that's where it starts. Whatever. The owner of the brand, right? You have to ask. You know, and just put the question out there, get the ball rolling. That's, you know, if I can tell you, like, the most important thing is get the ball rolling. You may not know what you're doing. It's okay. Just get the ball rolling. You'll figure it out.
19, and you call the owner of a huge company and you ask for a meeting.
Yeah,
Well, that's some bravado. That takes some bravado. To be 19, most 19-year-olds will be terrified to even to make the phone call, much less to even have the meeting. So that's awesome. Tell me about the meeting. So obviously you took the meeting, which is crazy, which is a testament to the founder to even take the meeting with you, because
huge testament, you know.
That in itself, for the most part, especially where I'm from, Silicon Valley, there are people with smaller companies that won't take it.
They won't take it. No, absolutely. But like I said, you know, there's everybody has an opportunity in life, and certain things will align. Doesn't mean the whole thing is going to be simple or easy, and there's definitely a test that comes to yourself just asking for a meeting, going through with the meeting.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but of course, you know, you're inside. I was scared. You know, I was scared of what the outcome was, and finally asked myself, what are you scared of, Betty? That they're going to say no? Then what? If they say no to this idea that I had in my head, then I just go back to my kiosk. It's what I'm going to be doing anyways, right? So I think that the challenge for most people, what I've noticed, is our biggest roadblock is what goes on in here. You know, what goes on in here. And so you just got to push through. And I remember sitting in that meeting, and you know, I walked in what appeared to be confident, but inside I was scared. You know, and I think that's an important thing to talk about, because in life, you're going to have great ideas, or you're going to have some projects, or you're going to have something that comes your way, and you are going to be scared. And it's okay. You know, I once heard that when you're a little bit nervous, when you're scared, that probably means you're doing something important. So if you ever feel that, it's like, just embrace it, take it in. It's all right. Just push through it, you know? And I remember sitting in that meeting, talking to these gentlemen, you know, and we talked about taking their products, $100 million, you know, that they were selling every single year around the world, taking them out of their kiosks and putting them into this industry called direct sales, network marketing. And they looked at me like I was crazy, right? Because I guess, I mean, it is kind of crazy, right? But it's all right, you know. I think greatness starts with craziness.
Absolutely.
And so they said no, but more meetings, research happened, and there came a point when they saw the opportunity. They saw how the world was changing and how things are going from traditional to social, to person, from you know, TVs to Facebook to Twitter to the internet, and they gave me the green light to start a small pilot.
I hear this, but I'm like so impressed. Impressed with your bravado at 19 to say I'm willing to have this meeting. But I'm more impressed that you kept with the process. I'm sure you kept following up, trying to figure out ways to make it happen. And then they actually said, yes, let's do it. And one, that's a testament to you. I mean, that's amazing. But two, that's also a testament to the founders to say, to be forward thinking. Because, I mean, you look at companies like, you know, Borders, or you look at companies like, you know, Blockbuster, who are now out of business because they weren't forward thinking. They said, oh, we're having success today, so that automatically means we'll have success tomorrow. And they don't look at where the future is going. And obviously, if you said, okay, I understand this is where we're at right now, but the future might say that this retail space might not be the best fit for us long term.
Yeah.
And now let's kind of move in a different direction.
And you know, that's a great point, because I think one of the things you have to be open-minded to the future. What brought you to a certain place of success is not necessarily what's going to take you to the next level. And staying open to evolve, you have to evolve, you know. And like you just said, there's companies out there that did not evolve to what's happening today, and they're no longer here. So you have to stay open-minded.
Yeah, absolutely. Walmart, you're next. That's an official prediction. So I usually always ask the female entrepreneurs that I sit down with, because one of the videos, I have a video, how to succeed as a woman in the marketplace, as a guy, right? But I think that most people won't admit that women are looked at differently. There are different segments of the population that are looked at differently when it comes to business. And some women are not respected as much as I believe they should. I've seen some incredible women do incredible things and not get the same credit as a man who did the same exact thing, right? So I'm interested to hear your point of view of being a woman entrepreneur, and kind of how that has affected you, and some of the things that you've been able to do to kind of move that ball in the right direction.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's interesting being a woman in business. I think it's interesting, period. But I like to take moments in my life and just reflect as to what do things mean and what could I do better, what could I do more, don't we all, right? And I think as a woman, it's important to recognize that as women we're wired differently. We are, and and I think once you embrace that, men are wired differently. We're just different. We're different, right? And I think once you embrace that, and I'll talk to the women out there right now, once you embrace that, it's a beautiful thing. It really is, because as a woman, there's characteristics you have where our intuition, and of course everybody has intuition, but you know what they say, right? Women, we have this intuitiveness about us. There's a sensitive side, whether sometimes we like to admit it or not. We can connect with more people on different levels, and I think when you surround yourself in the right environment with the right people, it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a male. At the end of the day, it's your persistence, it's your work ethic, and it's your passion.
Yeah.
As long as you've got the passion, the drive, and just that no matter what attitude, it doesn't matter. You can
This is a
make it
message
happen.
to the women. So I give the women 3 things that you say as a woman, not just as an entrepreneur, but just as a female entrepreneur. Here are 3 things that I really want you to embrace in order to get past the limiting belief that women can't achieve as much as a man or anything like that. It give us like 3 classic examples of what needs to be in place.
As a woman, there's 3 things we need to embrace. One, there is a stigma that perhaps you will be looked at differently, or that you will be treated less, or that it's not going to be as easy. And I think number 1, just get rid of that thinking. You can't go into a meeting or go into anything really in life with this attitude that I may fail because I'm a woman, or because I'm this, or I don't have this background, right? Just forget it all. Embrace who you are, and I think this is one of the awesome things about where we're at today, is people just want to get to know you. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a male, whether you're wherever path of life, they want to get to know you. And just when you know what you've got, when you know what you can offer, when you love yourself, which is so important, right? People will be attracted to that. At the end of the day, it's your energy, it's who you are. So, number 1, just get rid of any thinking, whether it's true or not true. That's all, that's all mental. We create our own reality. But walk into a meeting, walk into your next project, and just be confident of being a woman. And it doesn't matter whether you may be sitting with somebody who may look at you differently or not. At the end of the day, if you just present yourself and you show what you have to offer, people are going to be attracted to that no matter what. That's one thing. The second thing I would tell the women in today's society, when you're starting a business or in entrepreneurship, is embrace your feminism. Embrace it. There's many times when as a woman and you're in business, we may try to compete almost. Our energy, we may try to come off a little bit more dominant, a little bit more aggressive, and there's a difference between aggressive and dominant, and simply just being professional. You can be professional. It doesn't mean you have to be aggressive and dominant. Being strong is different than being dominant. And I invite women to really understand the difference between dominant and aggressive, and being strong, and focus on strength. I truly believe that there's one thing that every human being desires, that every soul desires, and that is, whether we recognize it or not, whether we articulate it or not, or whether we even understand what this means. I read this once and I'm like, that's it. That's what I want to experience as well. And that's to experience the rapture of being alive. Now, think about that. Think of the depth of that. To experience the rapture of what it means to be alive. You could be living, but it doesn't mean you're alive.
Yeah.
But the rapture of being alive, to be lost in that, in this experience of what it means to live. you know?
That is awesome. I love that idea.
You see, and I read that once, and it was a book. It's called The 5 Things That Everybody Must Know Before They Die. You know, the title was so morbid, and it was interesting, and it starts off, you read the first thing it says, some people may be discouraged by this title, they may not even pick it up, but there's certain things you need to know before you die. You know, when I read that sentence, it was just, I got lost in that sentence, in the depth of it. And, you know, for me, I want to experience the rapture of being alive. I want to know at the end of the day, when I report to my master, you know, that he's going to ask me, I think, so Betty, what did you do? What did you do? And I don't want to answer, well, I built a company, or I made a lot of money, or, you know, I truly believe that we all have talents. And I want you to, you know, if you're watching this, as you're watching this, I want you to think about and recognize your talents and realize that you've been given these tools, because that's what they are, to do something with them, you know. And we all want to know at the end of the day that our life meant something, that we did something significant, you know, not just that we weren't just successful. The key is, how do you go from success to significance? Know that you left something, that you did something, that you bettered people. They encountered you, that they became a better person. So when I think of 10 years, and when I think of 15 years, it's not even about 10 years. When I think about my whole life, I just want to know that that I did something worthwhile, that if I was given some talents, that I maximized them, and that I showed appreciation and gratefulness for my talents by doing something with them. And I just want everybody to know today that you've got something, that you've got some talents, you've got greatness within you, and it's not for you. And I think this is the main thing. You can't look at it just what it's going to do for me. When you've got talents, you've got a responsibility. You've got a responsibility to the world to do something with it, because there's something that you can do that the sooner you're not doing it, you're robbing people from a beautiful experience and from helping them out.
I mean, I'm literally in love with James. I've asked that question multiple times to multiple entrepreneurs. And I think that has to be the best answer. And I think with Kindred Spirits there, one of the questions I was going to ask you that I'm not going to ask you now is, what do you define success as? But I guarantee you it's that, what you just said. And it's so crucial, because a lot of people get so caught up in, I'm going to do a video, I was going to do a video, I probably still will do it, of me like taking all the expensive stuff I have and throwing it in the trash can while I'm on video, and all of the keys, all of the different cars, and throwing them in the trash can, and literally just like lighting it on fire, or something crazy like that, to really make a point that it's really not about the money, right?
It's not.
I mean, all the money does is create more opportunities for you to really live your purpose and what you plan on doing, what the mark that you want to make on the planet before you leave. And I just love that answer. Like, I literally love that answer. So I hope.
If I can interrupt you, it's okay. You know, you said something that's so important. Money doesn't bring you happiness, or, you know, and that's something that's commonly said. It's thrown out there. And listen, money is important. You know, you can't help people unless you can help yourself. The focus should never be money. Money is a byproduct of helping people, of being a blessing out there. But you know, I think one of the things that you know, is crucial to understand is the difference between happiness and joy. You know, buying a car, buying a home, trust me, you're happy when you do that. It's fun, you know, it's fun to do all the things that money can buy, but you can't always be happy. There's moments of happiness, but there's a difference with joy. You know, joy, even when you're struggling as an entrepreneur, even, you know, when you can have something happen in your life that at the moment you may not be feeling, it's not the best moment in your life. If you can find that sense of joy still, joy is something you can always have. Whether you're in the lowest points, whether you've got a good moment happening or not, there's always, I encourage everybody to seek joy versus happiness. Because happiness comes, you're going to have moments, but joy is a whole nother level, a whole different experience of living.
Wisdom, guys. This is dropping nuggets here. And I learned that principle. I was in Africa, in Kenya, and I went to a lady's house. She was probably maybe 50 or 60 years old, and she lived actually on the dump. Like, like where they drop the trash.
Yeah.
She built a house out of sticks and plastics and stuff like that. And the level of joy that she had was uncomparable to anything that I've ever saw, and it really helped me understand. And we didn't even give her, we had stuff for her that we didn't give her until after we left. But the level of joy, she was literally like, here's my last cup of tea, here's my last pieces of bread, have it, come sit down with me. Like, you know, I'm excited to be alive, you know, God has given me a gift of being alive in this world. And I mean, the amount of joy that she had was just amazing. It helped me understand that difference between happiness and joy. And a lot of people will wait for happiness to arrive, and they can't be happy until they get ... They can't be happy until they live in these specific places. And they don't realize that until they have a joy about life, they probably won't even get to that level of the things that they want, and they'll never get happiness. So they'll live their life from beginning to end, dead. Right?
Absolutely. And it's an interesting thing how some of the most joyful moments in your life are the most challenging moments in your life. I look back to when we were starting the company when I was 19 with my partners. You know, it was hard. It was so hard. I mean, there were times, I remember writing our business plan, and I didn't know how to write a business plan. You know, it's like, what did I know about writing a business? But I was so excited, and I didn't know, we hadn't even had $1 in sales yet because it was just an idea, and I'm putting it on paper and doing the steps to make it happen, right? There was times when it's like, I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills while I was on this road to starting the company, right? But yet, when I look back and people ask me, Betty, how has your experience been? I always look back to those times, how excited we were about what was about to happen, what we were about to do, and I didn't care what was in my bank account. You know, I was just so excited about the possibilities and how great life was, and the fact that there's that we're living, we're breathing, and as long as you're living and breathing, you've got the opportunity to change your tomorrow, you know? And it's a cool thing. I mean, we can talk about that all day long.
And entrepreneurs, listen up, because this is for you. If you are only focused on money, you've already died. Your business is already over. But don't get me wrong, money is a byproduct of business. We're in a for-profit business. As entrepreneurs, you're a for-profit business. But your focus is money, then you've already been out of business. So, a couple last questions and then we'll be good to go. So, like I said, I usually ask, what do you define success as? But I think that was this conversation right here. Who's one person that you would, if you had an opportunity to meet in history, who's the one person that you would say, I would go back and meet that person for an hour and get a conversation, have a cup of tea with a person, anybody in history? Anybody in history?
Gosh, there's so many people, right? But let me see, if I had to pick just one.
Just right? One for this.
Oh gosh, you know, I love history. I really do. You know, when you look back and just see some great countries, America, right? Being founded, it's like there are some. When you take a look at those people, there was a moment in their life when they were thought of as crazy. And they sure were, right? And that's where it starts, with revolutionaries, you know? And I mean, I would love to go back to, you know, our founding fathers, you know, and just not necessarily ask them what was your vision. I mean, I'm sure that's a great question. You know, I would like to ask them, how did you feel during that process, and just making a decision to say, you know what, I mean, think of that. Hey, we're going to start our own country. Like, we're not going to start a business. We're going to start our own country with our own philosophy. This is the way we're going to make it. And I'd love to just have a cup of tea with them, you know, 5 minutes with them, and just ask them, what was it like? What did you feel? Because, you know, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them would say, you know, sometimes we expect certain answers from entrepreneurs or revolutionaries or mentors, you know, where you expect the powerful answer, and that's there. But, you know, one common thread I'm pretty confident you're going to find with people is the fact that, you know, it wasn't about being fearless. You know, it's about being faithful. It's about knowing that fear is okay to have. You're going to experience it, but it's just being able to look at fear anyway and say, you know what, it's all right, you stay there. I'm going to focus and have faith on what I'm going to do and move forward. So, you know, I would love to sit with our founding fathers and have a cup of tea with them.
Nice. Okay. And the last question is this: entrepreneurial journey, the though it's been short, it's been very, as you've gone through a lot. You know, you've been to the lows and you've been to what most people would consider super high, right? So, what would you change if
Nothing.
you had to go back?
Nothing. You know, I mean, I'm sure if I sat there, I could tell you about the mistakes that I made, and I made a lot. And I could tell you, hey, I would change them. I know what I wouldn't repeat, you know. But I look back and I wouldn't change a single thing, only because I wouldn't know how to correct them. You know what I mean? Like now I know, and it's because I made so many mistakes. They say that, you know, that wise people learn from other people's mistakes, right? And for me, hey, that wasn't the case. I made my own share of mistakes, but I look back to all that and I call it experience.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you're gonna meet some people that sometimes you wish you would have never met, right? But I look back and I'm like, you know what? That was experience.
Yeah.
It's all part of your experience book. It's part of your chapters in your life. And I'll tell you that all the things all the mistakes, the hardships, it's what makes the stage feel so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you finally arrive at one milestone, at one checkpoint, you know, you look back and it's what makes the journey so it just feels so good. So I mean, I could tell you mistakes, and sure I would have changed that, I would have done that, and I won't do it again. I've learned a lot, but they've made Betty, you know, and Betty for me, whoever, you know, who I am. I'm proud of everything that I've done, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Awesome. Well, I loved it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom.
Thank you.
I think that the community will love to hear what you have to say. So until next time, see you guys soon. Being a sore loser is saying, I am upset. I expected more and I wanted to win. The people that scare me is the people who don't care whether they win or lose. I remember I used to play basketball